Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with Angela Hiley on the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast.
Yes.
And we are a little bit later on the day on Thursday, but better late than never.
That's right.
And we always tend to come through regardless. So as many of you guys know, you've listened to some of the last podcasts. We got hit with a little hailstorm here. We are still rocking and rolling that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably be working all weekend. It's I kind of get the it just brings back so many memories of back in the day, and I realized that literally a lot of times you check in cars on Monday. It's probably not midday till possibly the end of the week till you get the approval.
Yeah.
So you actually find yourself doing a lot of weekend work, a lot of evening work, stuff like that. But you know, you got to strike that hammer when the iron's hot.
Taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, and yes, it wasn't a giant storm, but we are getting a ton of work.
Yeah.
So even today...
I ain't complaining.
Even today, Miss Angela booked another client.
Another one.
You know, of course, scheduling and booking hail damage clients is way fucking easier if your market positioning is looking good.
Yeah.
Well, basically meaning that when people look into your company, they actually see something of substance there.
Yeah, like the gentleman that scheduled his vehicle with us today, he had previously taken his vehicle to another facility somewhere around in this area. He never gave me the name. Hopefully he might spill the beans and then I can Google them and see, you know, what type of rating they have. But he basically was talking to another gentleman that recently got his vehicle repaired by us, and his vehicle had hail damage on it as well.
Right.
So, you know, he was really disappointed with the customer service and the runaround that this other business facility was giving him. And he just said, "Fooey with it," and got him in the schedule. And, you know.
I mean, really, usually, guys, all it really takes is a good line of communication.
Yeah.
You know, I find that people will work with you as long as you just communicate and you become transparent with your or whatever situation comes about.
Mm-hmm.
And you just communicate things to them. You typically don't have a problem at all. But I think the issue is he felt he kept getting the runaround, probably because he wasn't getting any communication from the actual other shop.
Yeah.
And by the time everything was all said and done, his car wasn't fixed. He got it back. He's bringing it here. I'm not going to complain. But the key thing that I want you guys that stands out.
I don't even think that he even took his vehicle to get it there repaired or something. Like he took it in there for some type of estimate, and then that person was supposed to communicate with the insurance company or something, and then they were supposed to go from there about repairing it. Yeah. But it sounded like it was just a big headache.
Which in all reality, I mean, we tell the clients and customers, number one, you come in, we're not just going to give you an estimate. And,
no.
You have to literally get the car checked in so that way you can put a full court press on the insurance company, supplement company, whoever you're dealing with.
Yeah, and that's what I tell them. You know, I always explain to the customer about, once they receive their claim number, the lengthy process of what has to be done when we're writing out a supplement.
You know, I tell people, occasionally we get these people that are like, well, my insurance company told me to go get 3 or 4 estimates. I explained to them, I'm like, I don't understand why they would do that. And they're like, oh, really? Why? And I'm like, because we write pretty much an estimate on the same, type of, I explained to them we use a matrix, that we use a system. Everybody has this system. Everybody's writing the same estimate on something similar. I mean, us as paintless dent removal technicians, we know that we got the standard matrix, we got the State Farm, we got all this other shit. But in a roundabout way, it's all pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
And number two, it's like, why would you compare estimates at different places? That just says oh, what am I supposed to just go with the cheapest guy? Is that what the insurance company's saying to me? And I just explained to people like that. I'm like, no, we don't do that because, number one, for me to write an estimate, and we document everything.
Yeah.
For me to document everything and put together a whole fucking discovery package.
That takes time.
For your car. It takes a shit ton of time.
That's money.
You know, and I was explaining this to her today. I'm like, I seriously feel that fixing the hail on the car is the easy part at this point.
Yeah.
The hard part is all the amount of time, for me anyway, because I'm not a paperwork kind of guy, even though I find myself doing it and stuff like that. But it's like chasing the fucking money takes more time than actually fixing the dents.
Well, I even told you, I said that you need to teach me how to write up these supplements.
And we are working on that.
Next car we get in.
So I'm gonna start working her. And a lot of you guys may have heard one of the last podcasts. If you haven't heard it or haven't listened to it, I'm sorry. It's all about closing hail damage clients, and it was about Miss Angela here and her uncanny ability to be able to close hail damage clients religiously. Yeah, and her ability to sit and listen to people's shit for quite a long time.
Yeah, but it feels good. It honestly feels good.
Yep.
Like, I'm giving my own self a pat on the back because I'm like, yes.
We gotta have a bell that goes off every time.
I am the motherfucking boss.
We gotta get a bell in here, and every time we close a hail damage client, we gotta ding it, ding.
A bell?
A bell.
Oh, no.
You know, Amazon.com used to have
a foghorn.
You know, Amazon.com used to have a bell. Like every time they made a sale, it went off.
Yeah.
And they finally had to take it down because it just ding, 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 ding. The whole time it got annoying.
Huh. Maybe if we did get a bell, then we would be almost kind of like
celebrating.
Yeah, we're celebrating, but also maybe like setting ourselves up to where the universe is just going to
ring that bell.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think that's a song, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
think it is a song.
There's like
Ring my bell?
jingle bells. You mean?
No,
is
it's
that
like ring my bell.
Ring my bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it is.
Nice. So anyhow, I guess we didn't have this podcast today. Just talk about dinging bells.
Yeah.
But before we jump into the podcast, and we're going to talk a little bit, and she's yelling at, don't yell at him.
Odin.
Do not yell at him. He's
little. Like wanting to tear up them pee pad things.
He's a little minute. You let him tear up his pee pads. No. He ate a piece of toilet paper on me this morning.
No, John, don't, for real?
Well, I got it out of his mouth in time.
Oh my God. Okay, so
that would have been like 10 hours ago. There's nothing I could do about it.
We've had this dog for Odin. Quit. We've had him for like a week, and this dog is like so obsessed with John. It's like disgusting in a way. Like he is so obsessed with John.
It's because I whisper sweet nothings into his ear when nobody's around.
Obsessed with John. So like when we go to bed, his little crate is right next to on John's side, and John has to like.
As long as I got a limb hanging off the bed, he can see.
Well, what night was it though? Like the first night. Well, the first couple nights we had to stick him in the bathroom downstairs because he would not shut up, and then I felt like horrible, and so did John, and I was like, man, I really want him to like sleep upstairs with us, you know, in his crate. And John's like, well, I think it'll work just as long as somebody's kind of close to him. Well, John like laid down with him on the floor, so like Odin's in his cage and John's like laying on the floor on the side of his bed, and waits till he goes to sleep, and then he gets up and then he gets in bed, and then in the middle of the night Odin's like crying and stuff like that. So John gets up and lays back down on the floor with him, but this time John fell asleep down there.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But it was the cutest thing that this dog is like straight up attached. Like when we were in Pier 1 yesterday, I'm like holding Odin while John's like taking some stuff out to the car, and I'm like filling something out, and Odin's like, what is that? Is it rubbernecking? Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's like looking back completely, like his head turned all the way around, just staring, waiting for me to come back and get him.
I know, right? And as soon as John walks back into Pier 1, it's like John and Odin just lock eyes, and Odin's like, oh.
I don't know if any of you guys seen that. I don't know if any of you guys seen Mike was wearing one of them like straps around him where he had like a dog pouch carrier.
Yeah, we're getting you one. You and Odin. That's what
I told
you guys
Mike I'm going to
need.
take a photo of me with my dog pouch carrier on, just like he did, and say, I stand with Mike, and put it up there. We are men who have dog pouch carriers.
You need one because Odin would love it.
Yeah.
I honestly think that, like, I even told John, I was like, we just need one of them baby carriers where Odin can just, like, sit right there in the front on your chest, and then you can just walk around and you can do your dent repair with Odin on you.
I'll be walking around at the mega media event like, hey. Take it off. I'll be like, oh, wait a second. Let's cut some wood. My beard. That's right. Mountain. There's mountains around here.
No, but, like, I honestly feel that, like, John was probably, like, having some puppy fever, too, because I feel like ever since we got him, it's filled that void. And I know we have two other
It really
dogs,
keeps
like,
you busy, though. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
And... You know, that's the wonderful thing about animals, and we're going to get further into this into the podcast about people, getting rid of certain people.
Yeah.
But when it comes to animals, the coolest thing about them is that they bring you into the moment. So,
Yeah.
like, animals are always dogs especially. I don't know about cats, but...
We're just not cat people. Nothing against people that love
Well,
cats.
I am allergic to them, but I grew up with cats, and I had the coolest cat ever. But let's get back on track. Like, they bring you into the moment because they're always living in the moment, so you spend more time in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm trying to do more often, is just living in the moment, kind of taking in everything that's just going on in my present, right? Because I feel, yes, you're supposed to focus on the past, you're supposed to learn from the past, you're supposed to plan for the future, kind of articulate your plan for the future, but you can't live in one or the other. Like, living is actually done right here in the present.
Yeah.
And wherever you want to go to in the future, it's done by habits that are right now in the present. So by me understanding where I want to go, what I want to achieve, I have to develop the will to understand what I got to do right now in the present.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention, it's pretty fucking awesome. Like, I even found myself, I've been taking my American Bulldog on walks. And I spend a lot of time just watching her, and it's just so awesome to see her in her element and getting down by the creek. And, she was jumping in the creek, and she just loves the woods. So I found believe it or not, we live in this neighborhood, and there's a park down the way, and I found this group of woods there. And I noticed, like, a couple trails, and they're pretty cool. Like, I went back there, and, people got them cut out, whatever. Kids probably go back there and play. But early in the morning, we're, like, the only people in there.
Yeah.
So I take her across a couple little bridges, and I get to watch her when she sees animals, And just that, like, I don't know, sometimes, like, gives, like, chills down the back of my spine when I'm in the moment, and I really appreciate something that's, like, here and now, rather than thinking about something in the future or dwelling on something in the past.
That's very well said, sir.
Well, thank you. So, and that being said, y'all, like, that's the one thing I can't wait. I don't know if a lot of you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys do know that we have a Mega Media coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I've been emailing the shit out of people 2 times a day with different emails I've been writing. And we're going to be having it in Denver, Colorado.
Which I thought was Greeley.
Well, it's Greeley, but everybody's going to be flying into
Greeley?
Denver. Denver's the core city, and I'm sure Greeley's pretty cool, but I can't wait to just go into Denver and spend a little bit of time there, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the city of Denver. It's like mountain, like the whole city is like lined with mountains, and it's beautiful. Like, it's just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to look forward. We're going to spend a little time out there.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's going to be before or after the event. We're going to figure something out, and I'm just going to, like, take some time to just,
Be one
cherish,
with nature.
cherish all that beautiful shit that's out there.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, the weather out there is second to none, and mainly because it does get cold and it does get warm and stuff like that. But they got like over 300 sunny days a year,
That
which
sounds nice.
which basically puts them ahead of almost every state. There might be a place in Arizona that gets a little bit more, but if you think about that, that's a majority of the year the skies are clear and fucking sunny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the altitude. I think Denver's has a higher altitude, right? You read that recently?
Yeah.
And because of that, I mean, I don't know if you're up a little higher than the clouds normally
I
form or
wonder if
something
that
like
messes
that.
with you.
Well, I mean, there's a shit ton of people that live there. I mean, it's probably one of the, if you read a lot of blogs out there and stuff like that, it's probably one of the most popular places now for people to live. I read up recently on cities that have the highest income. It's right up there. It's probably top 10 of the highest income cities, which is pretty huge because some of the cities were much smaller in population.
Yeah.
And you got a place like Denver. It's a massive city that is very, very high income. I don't know, it's like $90,000 average house, and an average household medium $200,000, which is insane for that size of a city. It's so if it's fucking with people, it's not fucking with them that bad.
Yeah. Didn't somebody write a song about Denver?
Hold on, let me see if I can come up with it here. Denver, sunny all the time.
Oh my God.
I won't punish you guys anymore with any more of that. But yeah, we can't wait. So we're having the mega media event at Cole Fox at his shop out there. And what Cole actually did was is in Greeley, he actually took the old Greeley movie theater and renovated this place. And it's so cool because like he was in a smaller shop, and then after the mega media event, the very first one, he joined our Inner Circle group where Cole just posted all of these photos and videos of his like vision coming together.
Yeah.
And he literally had everything from this place done like to the max. Like he literally in this shop has 4 bays, or not even bays, like 4 separate garages connected to one building, and each one of them have their own like independent air conditioning system and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them is a smart repair auto body shop. The other one's a paintless dent removal shop, of course. That's what Cole does. If you guys don't know Cole, he's been a hail tech forever. The third one, I think, is window tinting, and then he's got a detailing shop as well. But then he took his old building and created another detailing operation there in Greeley as well. So we literally are going to this facility that is absolutely massive. I want to say he has a bullpen to hold like, I think he said like 150 cars or something to that nature. And she's over there telling the dog to quit eating stuff. But it's going to be the coolest venue because not only are we going to be just dropping some amazing shit, we actually have a group of people that are going to be phenomenal. I'm going to start announcing the speakers over this weekend. And I'll tell you, one of them is Max, who was on our last podcast from the Hail Trainer. And he's going to be one of the speakers. Ryan Shutt's going to be one of the speakers. And we're going to kind of centralize this whole thing around not just hail, not just for door dingers, but a mixture of both. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, one of the new things that we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be having some panels. So, for instance, instead of just like one person speaking, we're going to get together 4 or 5 people that are going to have random topics and really get in depth with some good shit. Like I had been at a couple events where they had panel speakers. And it is phenomenal because what happens is one person's idea or thoughts builds off the other person's ideas or thoughts. And it turns into just a really good learning experience. And then, of course, we're also going to be doing the workshop. So we're actually going to be working with the individuals in the workshops and all that kind of stuff, or everybody, all the attendees who are there. We're going to be doing workshops of showing everybody exactly how to drive traffic. We're going to have Dent Shark Jason back, who, if you guys didn't know about him, he's one of the dudes who literally mastered Google AdWords inside our industry, and he's doing really well with Facebook ads now. We're going to be going over some breakdown of my Facebook campaigns that I've ran. One of them that I think we're up to over $60,000 of revenue, and we're going to talk about, and that's just from the one Facebook ad. And I think we got less than $1,200 now in ad spend, and the thing's still running, actually. So we're going to go through a breakdown of exactly how that happened, how you do that, and that's hail damage. That's straight hail damage cars coming to me. Now, that's not all the hail that we did, but that's just from that ad, okay? So, and we're gonna go depth into that, depth into the workshops on that, and show you guys how to do all of this stuff super fucking easy, right? And but on top of the workshops, we're going to have panels, and we're also going to be giving away another Dent Trainer Black Card where folks will get swipe files, we'll get just all kinds of killer stuff on all of that. So we're just totally excited about it. And I'm telling all you guys this, well, number one, because I'd love to meet you guys and see some of you guys out there. But one of the other reasons I'm telling you guys is currently it's $1,000 off the ticket, which is the lowest price we've ever sold it. And that takes the ticket down to less than $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Which basically essentially means that not only you get all those photos, which if you guys haven't seen our Mega Media photos, they're insanity. Go to denttrainermedia.com. You can skim around. And, I mean, you guys have probably seen them out there in the wild, everybody posting them and stuff like that. But not only are we going to have some of everybody gets all of the photos for that, you're also going to get, if you haven't seen Mike's high-end videos that he puts together for people, insane. That video you couldn't get done for $2,000 locally, and even if you paid $2,000 for it, it would be shitty compared to what Mike puts together.
Shitty.
I mean, I'm just being honest, and I'm not trying to boost Mike's head up because number one, I don't think he listens. I don't listen to his podcast. He doesn't listen to mine either. So we talk about shit together all the time, so we don't have to listen to each other. So he's not going to hear this, so I don't have to worry about him getting big headed when he hears it. But his video that he put together at the last event,
that was.
It's like one of them. It's like almost like
awesome.
a tearjerker.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
You would watch it and you'd be like, oh.
I know that was just like when I seen Ray's, I was just like, man, that turned out so awesome. And he's like, it did. He's like, I was so nervous. Yeah. I was like, really? I was like, you can't.
You didn't look
tell.
it. Yeah. It evoked an emotion of genuine I don't know, awe. It evokes emotions, and that's what you want out of a video because
absolutely, especially when customers and clients see that.
Imagine them already getting passionate about you and your service before they even. And here's what I love about videos, guys, is that they sell for you 24/7, and that's the coolest thing about video. You put something down like that, you get it done professionally. Every time they come to your website, every time they come to your YouTube channel, every time they come to your Facebook page, every time they come to anywhere, your Instagram, all that stuff, you got this badass video it's selling for you all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I know because actually Mike put together my very first video out there, and it still ranks high on Google organic search results. Mm-hmm. And the thing's got like 300,000 views or something like that.
Wow. So
I've been selling with videos for a long, long time. And it really works. And that being said, one of the things that we're going to be doing on the workshop, guys, is I'm going to be going over the whole thing. And I get a lot of people contacting me about the whole pillar content and creating a piece of pillar content and then splicing it up into a bunch of other content. Basically taking one video and turn it into like 20 pieces of content.
Wow.
Well, we're going to break that down. I'm going to show you where and how to deliver them. And I'm also going to show everybody how to do it on their iPhone. And not only that, edit it, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. A real nice piece of content. And I would say another guy who's a great example, somebody who really done well with putting together content. And I just talked to Bryce Kelly the other day.
Yeah.
He's like booked out a month and a half in advance. And look, we all know how talented Bryce is, but before he started doing these videos and before he started, he was like really undercutting himself, number one. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't, so he was still prestigious in our community, but until he started marketing with these videos and this kind of stuff, he wasn't as prestigious in his market. That being said, and I think that's a lot of guys' problems because they don't, maybe the dent community knows about them or something like that, but they can't convey that message to their clients and customers. And I believe that, I don't believe, I 100% know that I've got a system that really wouldn't take long for individuals to create a piece of pillar content and to break it up into all kinds of pieces just with whatever phone that's in your pocket. So I'm really perfecting that too, guys, because you guys know I got all the high-end cameras and all that stuff. So I'm going back to perfecting exactly how people can put together something fucking insane with what's in their pocket, the phone, So
that phone.
It's going to be some good shit. With that phone. What you looking on that phone, boy? Oh, I got Odin right now sitting on me. My miniature schnauzer. He had to have me.
Yeah. That's because he's trying to tear up them pee pads or whatever.
Yeah.
I just need to get rid of him. He's doing amazing with the whole potty training thing.
Yep. He's been good boy.
Yeah.
So something we wanted to talk about, and guys, this is probably one of the things, I know we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but I want to talk about like getting negative shit out of your life, negative people out of your life.
Yeah.
And maybe not even totally kicking them out of your life, but kicking their negative opinions out of your life.
Yeah, and also I think that like some people that take up your space, they might not necessarily be negative and a negative individual, but I'm always like, you know what? Words are only your action. I mean, what they always say, they say your actions always speak louder than words. And like, I had this one individual that was in my life, and it was just like, oh, you know, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. You know, I'm so awesome, so thankful that we're friends, and I cherish our friendship, and blah, 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 this. But then there was like nothing else that ever came out of it, you know? And I'm just like, certain things, you know, conspired and whatnot. And I was just like, all of a sudden it just dawned on me. And I'm just like, this person is taking up a certain amount of my energy that I can take that energy and focus it on something a lot more important, like myself.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think just understanding them little signs and things like that. Like I'm really, I'm quite aware of people who are energy sucks. And, you know, the one thing about me, I mean, and this is no offense to anybody out there, but I hate talking on the phone, you know?
Well, so do I.
And like literally if people try to call me, like 90% of the time, I will not answer my phone for anybody. And I mean, I got to say this just because I dread it. And I think it came from my dad though. Because I always remember my dad going, oh, they want me to call them back, you know? And I get that. Like, I do not want, and there's some people that are exact opposite. I see people that can sit there and just talk on the phone all damn day long. I don't want anything to do with it.
No.
And to be honest with you, I don't get into back and forth with people.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example. So somebody hits you up and they want to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. And then you text them back, and then they have another question, back and forth. I would much rather make somebody wait 24 hours before I respond again.
Yeah.
Just so the next time they text me everything they want in one text.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to let them know that I am not going to sit here and text back and forth with somebody over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just, man, to me, it is the most, you know, I keep talking about living in the moment, or I was talking earlier about living in the moment.
Yeah.
That shit takes me out of the moment. It ruins my inner peace. It ruins my peace. And
well, that's because you have so much energy, and in all honesty, you have to be selfish with your energy because there's only certain people that deserve it, and then the majority of people don't deserve it at all.
And usually, if somebody calls me and I do actually answer my phone and they just jabber about a bunch of meaningless shit, I probably will never answer my phone again. I hate to say that, but man, be deliberate on what you'll give your energy to.
Exactly.
I mean, I would rather be sitting here like thinking about my goals, thinking about my dreams. If I got stuck in the realm of texting all the time and taking people's phone calls, I wouldn't have any time to actually maintain focus on what's important to me.
Exactly.
And it almost makes me want to go back to the days before we had. Do you guys remember the day? Some of you guys are young, some of you guys are my age, or some of you guys are older. But I just remember the days when people actually had to catch you at home before they could get a hold of you. Mm-hmm. And there was fucking beauty in that. Because you were out in the world. You were out like living life. You were out doing something. Mm-hmm. And if you got back, you had back then my mom would have taken down a message if they were lucky. Yeah. I don't even think we had a voicemail at the time, any of that stuff.
No, you had an answering machine.
So, yeah, if my mom liked the individual, she would take the message. If she didn't like you, she wouldn't even tell me about it. So, I would only get the people that my mom liked telling me who had called. Yeah. And it made a little bit more of an adventure out of life. Yeah. And I just remember missing people or not being able to get a hold of people. Yeah. And then going out and hanging out with some other people, and then we all ran into each other, and it was like, man, I called you earlier. Yeah. We don't have that shit anymore, and it kind of sucks for me. Maybe I'm just old, but I miss that stuff.
You're not old, baby.
But you know, like I miss that feeling, and I refuse to live in a world where I'm at everybody's beck and call at any moment, at any time.
Oh, you will always be at my beck and call.
I happen to have to be at your beck and call because she gets really pissed. She gets really mad at me when I don't get back with her. But you don't do it like all the time, which is
no.
I understand usually when you're getting a hold of me, it's something sweet or it's something you're
Important.
reminding me
Yeah.
or it is important. So, and my son, I always get back with him right away, even though I was in the middle of some shit the other day.
But it's certain people though.
Right. And I mean, other than that, I hope nobody gets offended by it because I like a lot of people. I just don't like you guys enough to answer your phone calls all the time. And you know, so that's just me and my inner peace trying to maintain that.
You know what? We
in
should
a chaotic
we should
world.
talk about something else here really quick, and I'm gonna tell y'all a little story because this happened like we all good?
Yeah.
Oh, this happened like maybe a couple weeks ago. That conversation that I had with my dad.
Oh, right.
Oh God, dear God. Okay. So anyways, basically what happened is my dad gives me a call and, we're just having a little father-daughter conversation. And he's like, yeah, I played golf with your brother. And I was like, oh, how did that go? And he's like, oh, it went amazing, and my brother works for like a gas. He doesn't work for Vectron or whatever, but he works for like what would be like a sub company or something. Like
yeah,
they do
some sort of
subcontracting or something like that. Something
they
of that
basically
nature.
they check for gas leaks.
Yeah, something of that nature. And I guess like he's a manager and they want him they want to make him a supervisor. But then like Vectron offered him like a job, and all this and that. My dad's telling him, I'm like, wow, I was like, yeah, that sounds so awesome. The conversation was going really well. And then all of a sudden it turned left and I'm like, holy fucking shit.
I knew your dad was digging his hole.
I was like,
as soon as he got in this part.
I was like, we're going down this thing again. And I don't know what it is because I don't know if it's because my dad's getting older, but he likes to bring up a lot of stuff from the past. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I've already dealt with it. I've moved on, but I'm like, why are you opening up this can of worms? Like, why do you really want to do this? And I'm just thinking.
Tell everybody what he was saying though.
And I'm biting my tongue because I'm like, I'm trying to be respectful, but yeah, I kind of want to tell him how it is. Basically, okay. So like growing up, it was me and my brother. We're 2 years apart, so I'm the oldest, and I got a younger brother. And I have no idea where this had all came about, but my brother was supposed to be the genius or the intelligent one in our family. And I guess Angela, I was supposed to just be someone that just got by in life and hopefully met a man that was going to take care of me.
The average.
Yeah.
You were, and as her dad was starting to talk about this.
I wasn't above average. I was like average or maybe below average or something.
And I knew it was going down when her dad was talking about this because I heard it on speakerphone. And he was trying to kind of buffer it a little bit by saying that, you're a lot like me. You really have to work at it, And he was going on about her brother being so intelligent. And I've been messing with her ever since. Like I always tell her, I'm like, well, let's talk about on the podcast about, when y'all was 10 years old, you were eating boogers and your brother was doing calculus.
I was not eating boogers. So I'm going to tell you all this. When I was a little girl, I had a booger wall.
Oh, you're never going to live this one down. Jay, write a song about this.
I had a booger wall when I was a little girl, and my mom would get so fucking pissed at me because every night before I went to sleep, I would pick my nose and I would wipe it on the wall and have a booger collection.
You want to know where I used to do it?
And my mom would have to scrape them off. So, but hey, even the funny thing
I used to do it under my school desk.
Listen, my brother got jealous, so he decided, a couple months down the road, he started doing it too.
He created his own booger wall. Now look at you downgrading the intelligence of the genius of the family. He was going to have a Nobel Prize until you convinced him a booger wall was a good idea.
I don't know. I guess I'm sure probably a lot of other people probably feel that way. It's just me and my brother. There was a lot of comparing. He was supposed to be the genius in the family. I have no idea what I was supposed to be. But in all reality, my brother is really not that intelligent. He's not. Like, I've been biting my tongue and holding it back, but I'm just like, Mom, Dad, he's really not that intelligent.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, and the funniest thing about people who like feel that they're super intelligent, is usually they wind up working for somebody who is a go-getter.
Yeah.
And they kind of get to the point where taking risk is not intelligent, okay? So they never take any risk.
Yeah.
And they always end up either working for somebody.
Yeah.
Or, then you got the people I think that are so intelligent, like they're so intelligent that they are risk takers, like the Elon Musk, okay?
Yeah.
So you got somebody who is stupid smart, right? But he's like out of his mind smart. Like really, probably if you met Elon Musk before he probably would have sound crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you sat and talked to him, the average person would have been like, this dude's out of his fucking mind. What he's talking about flying cars and shit.
You know what? That was never my brother. See, I
Sure.
don't know what had happened was like when he started high school, he got accepted into this drawing program that only accepted like so many people. But here's the thing. So he drew this house, okay? And I remember
their parents hung it in their bedroom.
Yeah. They hung it in the bedroom, okay? And I just remember like they overly emphasized how amazing this drawing was. Well, my dad found it like a few years ago and I seen it and I looked at it and I'm like, I could draw that with a fucking ruler. I'm being dead serious. Like, I have nothing against my brother. I love him I love him. I wish him the best and all, but I'm just like.
Really, I think what you're talking about, though, is your parents' perception of.
Yeah.
And making you feel like you were. Because I did. I listened to
kind
her
of felt-
dad. I listened to her dad on the phone.
Well, I think what it was is like growing up is like they put all their eggs in this basket for my brother. And they bent over backwards and, I don't know, filled his head with all this stuff. And then there's just me. But in all honesty, like my brother is very lazy. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's never really put in a lot of hard work to really get somewhere. I'm sorry, anybody can be a fucking manager.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
mean it in like, but the way that they overemphasize his achievements, and then they're just like, yeah, Angie's with John.
Well, I think I think you've talked about this before because they really don't acknowledge anything that you do and all this. And already, I mean, her dad's the nicest can be too. I mean, he's really, really good guy.
Yeah.
And he would go out of his way. He would do anything for her or her brother.
No, absolutely.
So
But I'm just
by
like,
any
please
means,
don't go.
but
Why
they
you
just
open up
have.
this-
You guys know the quirks that parents and family and things like that, or let's just say the beliefs that are formed. And, like on top of that, I think your dad grew up with a lot of, this person's in this place and this person's in that place. He grew up with a lot of hierarchy.
Yeah, there was my dad, there was a pecking order. And I think what it was is that, unfortunately, he just kind of took them things with him. And then when him and my mom, when they were together and they had kids, then they just did that instead of changing ways.
I guess I just lucked out because like nobody's intelligent in my family, so I didn't really have a lot to compete with. It just.
But I mean, I don't know. Whatever that my mom and my dad created, like it's not even reality by any means.
I think a lot of parents have some sort of weird false reality, to be honest with you. I mean, I would say all of us have that in some ways or means because, our kids are always the most special person in the world to us. And we're going to create this false reality inside our own heads of what they can or cannot accomplish and this kind of stuff. And truly, this day and age, I look at it, I'm like, man, the way we parent kids is probably not even fucking close to the best way it should be done.
Yeah.
It probably should have been done like it used to be done in the past, where kids had to
in
work,
all
where kids had
honesty,
to
like,
earn shit.
If I look at that, it kind of like set my brother up in kind of like a false belief way, because I've worked my ass off for everything that I have achieved so far in my life. I've worked my ass off. Unfortunately, my brother, he just, for some odd reason, thinks that everything is supposed to come like supernatural and super easy. And that's been probably kind of a hard lesson for him to learn.
I would say so. Yeah, I see how he is with that. And, I think he's, it's life kicking you in the mouth, it's literally, and we find that like I talked about this on some of the podcasts, like everybody raises their kids like they're the most special kid on planet Earth. And then when they get out in the real world, like nobody gives a fuck. Like nobody cares who your parents are. Nobody gives a fuck. I mean, unless, they're billionaires or something.
Yeah.
But like nobody gives a shit about your feelings. They want to know if you can produce results for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's the bottom line. And that's where I think, me, including me, we screwed up raising our kids, and we've got away from that whole hard work ethic and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've just made them soft, really.
I don't think Jonathan's that soft.
He's soft.
Oh,
he
not
ain't no
that
fucking
soft.
get out at 7 a.m, fucking go milk some cows and
Well,
then
you
grab
didn't do
10
that
buckets
either.
of water. And, well, of course I did it. I'm part of the decline of civilization. I'm riding this wave with everybody else.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, well, just remember, I used to wipe my boogers under a desk. All right, everybody.
Oh, dear God.
But one thing I just want to touch on before we get off this podcast, I know we kind of went in left field there, and we went down Angela's memory lane there with her brother and heard it all. But I want to stress something as well with people around you, because this is some of the things that I would say if I could go back and change a few things about some of the moves that I made in the past.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I would do is make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people that not only I support, but they support me.
Yeah.
And the moment that you spot jealousy,
Yeah.
the moment that you see that out of somebody, or you see somebody that is specifically trying to that just doesn't support you, then you need to move on. You need to let them go. You need to get that energy out of your life as quick as possible.
Absolutely.
Because the moment that you let that energy go, get that out, get it away from you, you will find that you pass the test,
And you know what? Sometimes it's hard because, like, you can really care and love that person, but they're not doing anything good for you. Like, you can be their biggest cheerleader and root them on. You can still do that from afar, even if they're not like in your life.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes I get it. Like, sometimes it is hard. There's some people that you absolutely love and adore, but then all these signs are there saying, like, you know what? I really don't need you in my life.
And then I will tell you guys that the best thing you can do, if there's somebody that has bothered you to the point to where you're just walking around all day and you're thinking about them and you're like, that motherfucker, if you're doing this type of shit about somebody, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to tell you to do the exact opposite. I'm going to tell you to, whether you pray, whether you meditate, whatever you do, to go back, and I don't care if it's appalling to begin with. I want you to sit down and in your head over and over again, whether you're praying for them, whatever you're doing, wish them the best. And because something will come over you at some point. Maybe it'll take a week, maybe it'll take a month. If they really fucked you over, maybe it'll take a year, 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would almost go to say that if you did it right and you did it day by day, it would take less than a week.
Yeah.
Something will come over you that frees you from that feeling.
you'll
And
be
that's what we're
feeling
really
good.
talking about. Because you want, regardless, man, regardless of what anybody's done to you in the past, well, I wouldn't say regardless. I'm sure there's situations. But if this is just a normal situation where somebody's just wronged you in some way or something like that, and you're walking around and it's bothering you, it's built up on you, it's, you're thinking about it all the time, you need to get that energy away from you.
And also,
Because
even like,
that energy will bring this exact same energy towards you. And I can't really explain how this works, guys, but I will tell you that whatever you focus on, you get more of.
Yeah, and exactly.
And if you focus on hating somebody, you're going to bring more people into your life that are going to do the exact same thing to you.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to bring that energy in your life. So you got to step back and either pray for them, either wish them the best, like, and make it, man, legitimate. It might not even feel legitimate to begin with, but say it out loud if you need to.
Yeah.
And just wish them the best and get that feeling out of your system, because you need to, the world, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, will give you what you focus on, right?
Yeah, and then also, I do this, you got to get all that anger out. So your best thing to do is maybe take a good 5, 10, 15 minutes or whatever and just go somewhere and just yell
have
it all
a
out.
full-blown fucking panic attack about it.
No, not a panic attack.
Well, I mean,
but
just go, like, get on your bed and attack a pillow. Like, beat the shit
No.
out of it. Be like, you motherfucker.
No, like when I was weed eating and I had to weed eat behind the fence. I have to do that so often because the grass grows high and it's one hell of a workout. And I was just like enraged and I just let it all out. And then by the time I was done doing
This girl's got a badass weed eater. Gasoline, isn't it? Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also even with it's like, growing up and like, your parents are not like perfect. And unfortunately, they're going to say things and do things that are not, make you feel all happy and fluffy and good inside. And just don't even listen to that.
Yeah, it's so funny because, like, you guys know my mom passed away last year, but love her to death. But she was absolutely the most, like, any idea that I would have had when I was a kid, like, hey, Mom, I'm going out to, learn how to do this, open up my own business and all this kind of, she'd be like, well, you got to worry about, failing and this and that. I mean, she'd worry. I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys an example. If you talked to her about winning the lottery or becoming a millionaire, she would say, well, then you got to worry about your kids being held hostage. I mean, like, regardless, she had like a negative point of view. And there's going to be a lot of people in your life that have that point of view, but it's like, at that point, it's like, now what do you talk to them about, right?
Yeah.
So instead of talking to them about your ambitions and dreams, find other people that have the same ambitions, the same dreams,
Exactly.
or the same type of ambitions, the same type of, that are open to talking about that and talk, but then when you go talk to your mom or your sister or your brother, talk to them about something. You find something, y'all. Talk about the past. Talk about whatever it is that can connect y'all and keep you guys away from subjects that
yes, like what I ran into with
what
my dad.
she ran into with her dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to talk about that shit.
Well, something I learned a long time ago is that regardless, you and anybody you at least have 1% of something in common, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, there's 10% or maybe even 20%. That you have something in common with the other people. Mm-hmm. Well, here's what you do, all right? If you really want to get along with people, if you want to live a life that's stress-free, find that 1 to 10% of what you have in common with people and focus 100% of your energy on that with them.
Yeah.
So that way you can stay in common grounds, you can be relatable, and that's especially important in business.
Yes.
Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody is, whether they're a Democrat, whether they're Republican, whether they're liberal, whether they're conservative, whether they like this football team, this basketball team. I don't care what it is. I will find something with them, some sort of common ground, if they're client and customer of mine, and I'm going to stick to that. Mm-hmm. And anytime the conversation starts to go down a snake hole, I'll bring them right back somehow.
Yeah.
And you got to master how to do that. And, because, like, my objective with my clients and customers is not to, like, change numbers and go out in the weekend and have dinner with them or something like that.
Yeah.
My objective is to give them a wonderful experience and sell them a wonderful product and let them meet a wonderful person that they want to come back and meet over and over again.
Yeah.
And how you do that is you find the common ground and you focus on that 100% of your time on that common ground.
Yep.
So that being said, y'all,
I agree.
I hope you get out there and she sees it in action. I got motherfuckers hugging me in my parking lot, and you guys know what I look like. Do I look like somebody that, like, randomly you just walk up and hug if you didn't know me?
Oh, I love
But by the
seeing
time
that.
I am done with these people, men, women, whatever, they're lovey-dovey.
No, I ain't gonna be letting the women hug on you.
The older ladies can.
Oh, absolutely.
And they do. Yeah, I even had an old lady come in here at one time, and she was probably 90 years old. And she's like, oh, my God, look at them tattoos.
Oh.
She's like, my grandson has one of them.
Oh, we had a customer the other day that came in, and she was such a freaking hoot. I loved her. I loved her personality. She was just like, she was someone that I could have sat down and like talked to all day.
Yeah. Of course, we give them the dog. Here.
Yeah.
I will tell you guys one thing. When you have a puppy in a shop, we had a lady adjuster that came in here from State Farm. It was Geico. It was Geico. And she came in, she kind of looked like she was a little bit abrasive. As soon as I walked out with the puppy, man, she melted, didn't she?
Yeah.
Had to hold the puppy, had to talk about her dog, didn't even hardly look at the car, and went out there and said, I'm going to write you an estimate and cut you a check. So I might say for business-wise, and anybody that comes in here, we had a gentleman in here that brought had his granddaughter with him for the day.
Yeah.
Scheduled an appointment, granddaughter, face blown up, smiling, has a puppy in her hands, petting it. I mean, geez, I'm like, I might become like a puppy sitter or something like that around here. Just so we always got a puppy on staff to hand somebody.
Well, I think it just puts a smile on everybody's face. And it
puts a smile on everybody's face.
It just makes you feel so good inside.
Oh,
holding
hugging
puppy.
a puppy.
Yes.
All right, everybody. On that note, get yourself a puppy.
Get yourself a puppy.
And leave your ass a review. And if you want to go to the Mega Media event, get the $1,000 discount while you can, okay?
Where do they go to purchase their ticket?
Well, Angela, they would go to denttrainermedia.com. And they would be able to see my handsome face and a full-blown video telling you about what you're going to get.
Ooh.
Hey, look, guys, seriously, if you're not moving forward in your business, if things are not happening for you, come out for 3 days. Let us move you forward.
Ooh.
Let us put the plan in motion. Let us give you all the content that you're going to need to move forward for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And do your fucking job as a business owner and move your company forward.
Yes.
We're going to help you do that, okay? So I hope to see you guys out there. All right? We'll see you on that next one.
Remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.
Pew, pew.
Bang, bang.